Greetings and salutations to you all once again. It is me, the Ravenous Spectre, and this is the video that I have been practically wanting to make all year long. It's my games of the year. It's my top games of the year. I'm not a person who just sticks to one specific game or try to put them in a specific order. I just have a list. That's all there is to it because so many great games come out every single year. You can't pick just one. They're just like Lay's potato chips. You can't eat just one. Yeah, but anyways, this list was kind of hard for me to do a bit. Some of the games I played and beaten, some of the games I played and haven't beaten, but some of them still made the list, which is kind of strange. But I'll kind of get into that a bit. Some, excuse me, so, excuse me. Some of them, I guess you could think of them as being honorable mentions. I actually don't have them here with me. I thought of this after the fact of me doing this video. Like, say, World of Final Fantasy, for example, that's an honorable mention. I liked it, but it kind of got a bit too repetitive. I'll finish it someday, though, but it's just getting a little too repetitive for me, I guess you could say. Um, but anyways, I'll go ahead and start with the old El Stacco over Hero. And the first one that I'm going to show is Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past. Now, obviously, I haven't beaten this. It's a freaking Dragon Quest game. There's a billion hours in this thing, so there you go. Well, not a billion hours. I'm exaggerating, over-exaggerating, whatever. You know what I mean. They're long-ass games. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the upgraded version to this, if you will, the remastered version, if you will, of a game that came out either 99 or 2000, something like that, on the original PlayStation. And the original PlayStation version has skyrocketed in price, and it's ridiculous. You know, people know what they have about having a rare title, so they'll try to get whatever money they can out of someone with it. And I used to have it back in the day when it first came out, but due to financial issues, I didn't have it anymore. That really fucking sucked. It'd be great if I had it today because I could sell it for a lot of money. It's like people really don't know what they have until it's gone. Actually, it wasn't under my jurisdiction of why I lost the game in the first place or anything like that. But hell, if I still had it today, I could be making some good money off of it. Regardless of what people says, if you have rare games, you can make good money off of it. So there you go. That could definitely end up being a title that I could have made made a good chunk of change off of, if you will. But anyways, I'm glad that this isn't overpriced. It was $40 flat. You can find them online now for probably about 50 or more, I would imagine, the original PlayStation version. But anyways, definitely a good game. Definitely really liked it. Continuing to go along with it for sure. And time will tell how things range for me as I push onward, if you will. Um, let's see what else. Yes, we knew that this one was going to be on the list, and obviously that's Final Fantasy 15. Actually, just got an update, as a matter of fact, for New Game Plus and extra stuff they added in, or something like that, and bug fixes and whatnot. This was obviously going to be on my list this year because of everything that I've seen about it, all the videos, all the news I've heard about it, everything, knowing how long we had to wait for this daggum thing, and it's finally out. We finally have it, and it is cool. It really is. I actually heard a podcast today. Somebody described it as being a disaster piece. Like, it's really awesome and it's fun, but there's like so many other things it seems like it's wrong with it, and it's just mashed together. But it's still really fun to play. Obviously, I don't I don't agree with that, but it definitely is. It definitely is something, especially with all the updates that Square Enix is going to do as time wears on throughout the year. It's definitely going to be one to look at, especially with, I guess, new cutscenes are going to add in. From what I've heard, there's going to be like a multiplayer mode. I don't know if that's going to be for like the entire game or just specific parts of the game or specific missions or just certain missions they're going to put in there that can just be multiplayer centric or what the case is going to be. But definitely liking it. It's kind of hard for me to tell where I sit with the story. There was something that actually happened where there was a character that I fought, and then the very next mission, they were in my party. And I'm like, what? You give no rhyme or reason as to why this person is in my party now when I just fought this person previously, and it seems like that they were an enemy. They were with the enemy themselves, and now they're on my. I was like, that didn't really connect. I, you know, I'm pretty sure it didn't go over my head because everything that had happened from the end of that mission all the way up until the next mission, there was nothing there, hide nor hair, as to the reason why it happened. you got to establish that first before you make this stuff happen. You know, one of my friends made a joke. He's like, "Hey, it's a JRPG. You know, what do you expect? They don't really need to have any type of reason." Well, for me, they do. Because I mean, it was cool to have that person in there, but at the same time, I'm like, that made no freaking sense. But anyways, uh, the next one here is Dishonored 2. Now, I played this, I beat this with Emily, and it was great. I really did like it. I thought that the ending was better than, or at least one of the endings that I got was better than the one from the first one. And the first one was really awesome. This one is really awesome. I try to do everything that I possibly could in this game from the beginning to the end, try to explore everywhere, do everything I could. Some things I couldn't because of how things, I guess, were going for me or whatever, or I just didn't want to progress to certain other areas. Like I wanted to save them for Corvo because I will play through this again as Corvo because I believe they have two different ability trees. So obviously it would be good to play as him to see where things could go for him. But it's definitely cool. I'm, I'm really wondering what they're going to do with the third one. There's really no telling knowing how this one had ended. But there was actually one specific area in the game that I kind of rushed through, and I didn't necessarily mean to, but I knew, or I didn't know, but I felt I was near the end of the game, and I said, you know what, I've got to go ahead and just get to the end of this and see what's really going to happen. But the next time I go through, I'm going to end up being more thorough in this. And it was just like one specific area in the game. I think I pretty much thoroughly explored, or as thoroughly as I feel like I could, in the other areas of the game. But this one, I'm going to have to go back through and look through it just a little bit more thoroughly, you know. So definitely one. I love how creative it can be when you're going through and deciding how you're going to take out enemies, whether you're going to be stealthy and silent or whether you're going to just going to go in and just ransack everybody. Guess what I did? I just killed every damn person because I wanted all their money off of them, any weapon items that I could get off of them, you know, the whole 9 yards, ammo, whatever. So yeah, I definitely had like a high chaos count throughout my first playthrough, but that's what I like to play. I can't stand playing stealthily. I can start out playing stealthily, and if everything goes okay, then fine. But if the shit hits the fan, then no. I'm just like, well, I got to kill everyone now because if not, they're gonna kill me. That's just how I roll. And I'm not going to be one of those people who's going to try and go back through the game and be completely non-lethal and completely. I can't do that. My brain, I will quit. I will not do it. My brain will snap in half. It will not happen. I'll just snap and be like, all right, everybody's got to die in the whole game. Um, but anyways, the next one that I have on the list here is Mafia 3. Now, there's obviously some pros and cons about this. There's obviously split reviews, you know, some positive, some negative. I honestly really liked it. I really like the setting. I like the story. I like the cutscenes. I like the voice acting, the animation, everything. I love the gunplay in it, just everything. But yeah, there was a sense of repetition in it where you would go and take out these certain enemy bases and get intel on another person you're supposed to go after, and ultimately it ends up ending in you actually taking out this target. And every single time you go to the final target, if you will, for whatever mission sector that deals with, or whatever story mission that deals with, there's like an elaborate kind of thing that happens with it, and it's obviously a hell of a lot more interesting with those ending missions, if you will, for that specific mission than going through the whole rigmarole of beginning to end, mission after mission after mission, to get to that main target. Like going to this base or getting intel from these people or taking this person out, this, that, and the other kind of just follows that whole track throughout the game as you go from target to target to target. But regardless of that, it's still really awesome. They actually ended up releasing an update for this where they ended up giving you outfits that you could wear, you know, just for cosmetic purposes, not for the fact of you increasing any of your stats, which would have been cool. That would have been nice if they'd done that, but whatever. But I really did like this one. I haven't played the first one. I have the second one. I haven't beaten it. I played a little bit in it, but I couldn't stand the car mechanics in the second one. I couldn't stand how slow. I mean, I know the time period the cars are going to be slower than obviously than they are today, but everything was just so slippery in that game with controlling. And I know that it was like a snowy kind of landscape, at least from what I saw. I can understand that, but I still hated it. I just hated the car mechanics in it, and I hated it and I think because I was playing on easy with this, it ended up turning out that it was much more. I didn't have to worry about cops coming after me like I did in the second one. Like, oh, you went over the speed limit, the cops are going to come after you. I just, it's a game. Why do you have to be that realistic? That was one of the main things that I hated about the second one, and that's another reason why I'm glad that's not in the Grand Theft Auto series either, because that would just annoy the shit out of me. And the next one that I have here is yet another open world game, and that is Watch Dogs 2. Now, I have the first one. I liked the first one. The story was short. It was okay. The main thing was the gameplay and the gunplay and all of that. That was the main thing that kind of stood out about it, and that was fun. But the main protagonist was kind of dull. This one takes it to another level. It's kind of just one of those games where you can pop in, do a few missions. You don't have to, it's not really deep. It's not really involved to the point to where you're like, oh god, I got to stick with this from beginning to end. There's a lot of different side activities that you can do. The main character is a hell of a lot more interesting than the first one was in the first game. It's much more colorful. It has more going for it than the first one did. While the first one to me was fun, it can't hold a candle to this one. The story was all right. The only thing that I wish they did different in this was I know it's called Watch Dogs and it deals with hacking and whatnot, but that whole flipping around of the pipes deal to send the signal through to hack different things and whatnot, eh, that just kind of falls flat for me. And it seemed to me like there was, at least from what I can tell, there was more of that in this one than there was in the first one. I could be completely wrong. Maybe there was the same amount in both of them. I don't really know. But everything else was really cool. Um, just the characters, the main protagonists, all of that, the missions, things seemed more varied, honestly, and I'm definitely going to end up going back through when I going back through like every of the story missions or whatnot. But I'm going to go back and try to get all the extra stuff that's out there in the open world. It's just a fun open world to explore and just create overall chaos, especially with you having extra abilities you can unlock for hacking, like hacking vehicles and driving them or using them for cover or causing massive wrecks and all that stuff. It's definitely a grand time. So I definitely suggest that you guys check it out for sure. The next one that I got on the list here is Dragon Quest Builders. Now, speaking of which, I did beat Watch Dogs 2. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I haven't beaten this just yet, but I honestly really like it. I've never been into Minecraft. I've never cared about Minecraft. I can't stand Minecraft, to be quite honest, because I've tried to look into it and I don't get it. I played as Legos as a kid, but seeing it like this, it's just, it's just not my forte. It's not my taste. If it's everybody else's, that's all well and good, but it's just not for me. This takes more of an action RPG route. Yes, it has the whole building mechanics thing, but there's quests that you go to in order to be able to build up this village, because it turns out that this takes place the first game. Yeah, it takes place at the end of the first game, and basically all of humanity, well, not all of humanity, but everything has kind of been wiped out. There's just a few survivors of humanity, and you basically have to teach them how to live for themselves and start building up their civilization again, because monsters are running rampant and all of that. And that's something that you really need, you coming in as a builder, if you will, or like a legendary builder or whatever it's called, coming in and helping these people and assisting these people to be able to do that. And these quests are varied, and building up certain defenses and building up certain rooms and this, that, and the other. And honestly, for it being a simple story, it does hold my interest, and I really do. It's honestly a really fun game. It's really cool. It has a nice little 8-bit type of environment, kind of like cubed environment like what was in Minecraft. But all the characters are all 3D, and so you don't have like 8-bit cube characters or anything walking around. But it's definitely one to look into, definitely one to try out. And like I mentioned, and your character does level up as well as you go along. So it has more of a real action RPG feel, more so than the building. The building is there. It is. But I guess it kind of splits it half and half, maybe 50-50, I guess you could say. But it was fun. It didn't seem like it was repetitive or stupid or empty or boring or nothing like that. It was actually interesting, and the world is colorful. The characters are colorful. It's just like candy is on your screen. So it's definitely worth checking out without a shadow of a doubt. The next one I have here is Doom. Yeah, I flipped the cover around. I don't have the regular cover on here because the regular cover just has that stupid, generic Call of Duty soldier. Let's put a soldier on the front of every damn freaking first person shooter that comes out. I'm freaking tired of that crap. My God, game developers, you make a freaking game, get freaking creative with your cover. That's why I'm glad. I think they actually did this on Twitter. It ended up going on Twitter and had a few different selections of different alternate covers that fans were looking into, and this was the one that they had picked. This is the original of well, it's an updated version, obviously, but it's like from the original Doom of how it looked when the Doom Marine had all the demons jumping on him and all of that. It wraps around in the back there, so I'll just go ahead and open this up. Now see, that right there, that's badass. That's creativity. This is giving a blast to the past right here. This is basically, okay, look, we're taking the Doom franchise and we're bringing it back to its roots, but we're adding something extra new into it and making it freaking badass, and that's exactly what they did with this. The glory kills were awesome. The action was awesome. It was fast paced. It was frantic. It was bloody. It was gory. The music was great. You know, it was metal and techno mix, which makes sense because you got like sci-fi and metal environments and metal actually infused into these demons that are coming after you, and you're taking them out. So metal and techno mix with this. It makes sense for this type of game. And metal makes sense obviously for this type of game. But yeah, dude, when I first got this and it had that cover, I had to flip it around. I had to. I was like, this is a hell of a lot better than that generic soldier first person shooter bullshit that you see on every damn first person shooter nowadays. Complete lack of creativity. Complete lack of it. Complete. It's like, let's just slap a soldier on here. People will buy it. Hell no, I won't. But I did have to get this because I knew about the alternate cover, and even then, I was really wanting to get back into Doom again because the previous Doom, which was excuse me, previous Doom was just it was okay. I actually got to a specific point in that Doom where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I ended up going into a specific area, and it auto saved on me in an elevator or whatever, and I didn't have any health, and I got up to where a bunch of enemies were, and I tried to kill them off, but they killed me off. And I was like, okay, well, I wonder where it's going to start me back at again. And surely enough, it ended up starting me right back on the elevator again. I was like, well, I'm screwed. I don't think you could actually make any type of manual saves. I think it was all like auto saves or quick saves or something like that, which is all well and good, but it can also be a complete hindrance if you can't manually freaking save. I don't mind autosaves, I don't mind checkpoints and whatnot, but give me the damn ability to make freaking manual saves when I want to, because I know what I'm doing in my game because I'm playing it and I know how I play. You don't know that, developers. Just make the damn thing have freaking manual saves. I could be completely, off my rocker for the previous game having those. I don't know. I was playing it on console. Maybe it was different for the save system than it was for PC. I don't know. But make freaking manual saves for every freaking game that comes out, because checkpoints and auto saves can bite you in the ass. They can. It can happen. So manual saves are always a good backup plan. Um, but yeah, I definitely love this. The cliffhanger ending kind of pissed me off, but everything else before that was great. And people are like, there's no story in it. I'm like, there is story in it. You just have to read the logs and things that you get, and the different lore and things that's in there. And from what it is freaking awesome. I really wish it was implemented into the game, like with cutscenes and characters and story and all that. I really wish that it was. But it was just like, well, here's the logs and the story and everything if you guys want to read it, which I did, and I found it really interesting. And it kind of sucked, but I was just like, man, I wish they ended up putting these, like actually playing them in the game, or making amazing cutscenes that I could watch to be able to see this stuff play out and flesh out, if you will, flesh out, doom, blood, gore, giblets or giblets or gibs or whatever they call them. But yeah, definitely one for you guys to check out. Highly suggest getting Doom. Um, Gotta love it when you glory kill a D. Oh, and by the way, screw the multiplayer. I don't give a shit about the multiplayer. I tried it out, whatever. And the snap map thing where you're building up things, that's a really cool idea. I kind of like that, and I actually explored it a bit, but ultimately I just kind of walked away from it. honestly. But you gotta love it when you glory kill a demon and you have all this ammo just pop out of it, and health or whatever, or armor, and then just take it and run right along, and then taking out other demons as well. Um, Now, all these games are my top games of the year, but there is one specific one that ends up taking the high spot, and it was hard for me to do this because of all these great games that came out. But this is a top game on my list, and this is my game of the year. I have some other ones after this, but I might as well go ahead and do this anyways. You know, two birds with one stone. And that is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Naughty Dog is one of the greatest developers in the gaming industry, bar none, and a lot of people will tell you that. The graphics in this, the story in this, the characters in this, the motion capture, the everything, even after you complete the game and all the extra options that you can use to go back through it again, make you want to go back through it again, make it more interesting to go back through again. You can flip the world and have a mirror world to go through. You can change the audio to where they can sound like chipmunks, or whether they can sound like really deep and low, like they're demons or something. Or you can have like 8-bit voice track, which I don't suggest doing that because you never know what the hell they're saying. You can change like the different colors of the screen. I guess you can have like an old school black and white uh, um, screen where you're just playing in black and white, or playing like sepia tone and things like that. You can get these skins. You can get different outfits you can put the characters in that they'll wear throughout the game, and things like that. And there's just a whole lot that's going for this, and I don't care what's being said. I don't care of what Naughty Dog has mentioned. I think they just mentioned that this was the end of Nathan Drake's journey, which is understandable. But it is not the end of Uncharted. It can't be. It can't be. I'm not spoiling anything here, but the way that it ended, it can't be the end of the series. It is a great series. I also have the collection on PS4 as well for the first three. It's absolutely amazing, without a shadow of a doubt. And that is definitely why it's my game of the year, bar none. I mean, there were so many great ones that came out. I can't. It was really hard for me to do this, but the it's just so lush and so colorful, and so the story is great. The characters are awesome. One little gripe that I will have about it, though, even though I really do love the game, is yeah, I can understand that there's platforming elements, if you will, scaling walls and things like this. That's understandable. But it's just the fact that it does it maybe a little too much. It feels like maybe a little too much. But that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. Um, Scaling walls and moving around. Even think that it was that. I don't even think that it was that. There was that much going on in the three previous games. I really don't think that it was at all. Of course, there was some of it, with it being Uncharted and whatnot, and kind of being a little Tomb Raider-ish, if you will. But this one seems like it had a little bit more than that. But regardless of that, everything was great. Even the ending to this was awesome. The ending was great. The finale was great. Everything was amazing. I can understand why they ended up delaying this some. I do, and I'm all for a game being delayed as long as it makes it better than what it was previously, and getting any bugs or glitches or anything out. All of that, without a shadow of a doubt. So definitely one of my top games, and obviously my game of the year. Now, the next one on here, you guys have heard me gush a whole lot about, and that is Dead Rising 4. What more can I say about it? It's great. It's awesome. It's what I felt like Dead Rising should have been when the first Dead Rising came out. They get rid of the time limit, which they did that in the third one too, but they get rid of the time limit in this. I think it's like DLC now or something, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to download it. But I just beat this recently, and the ending was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. No spoilers, obviously, but I was like, I didn't expect that. But it's definitely awesome. I'm going to be going back through it again. I think when I finished, I think Frank West was like level 73. I want to say level 73. Yeah, I took some time in this and had a lot of fun with it, but I'm going to go back in through it again to try to level up even more and try to find other stuff that I didn't find previously in the open world. Open world games is one of my favorite types of genres because I love going and exploring. I love going through and being dropped back in the world again and going through and doing the missions and all that. All that's well and good in the side missions and whatnot, and finding things. But going back again and trying to see what you might have missed is just even better. At least as far as I'm concerned, it is. It just makes the experience better, and gives you reason to go back through it again and just try to look for anything, because you pretty much finished the main meat of the game. So you're going through and seeing if there's any other little trinkets or things that you might have missed, or any other little extra stuff that you can unlock. So definitely want to get, and I believe also this is going to be coming to PlayStation 4 within a year. Timed exclusive. Fuck you, timed exclusive. But anyways, yeah, so timed exclusive. And I think it's also coming to the Switch as well, the Nintendo Switch. So that'll be interesting to see. It would kind of suck if it ended up kind of having some type of motion controls like the Dead Rising Chop to You Drop ended up having, and it was just so abysmal. Oh my God, I really hope that they don't do that with Dead Rising 4. But we don't know everything that's coming, that's going to be happening with the Switch anyways. Got two more left, and Gears of War 4 is the next one. This was one of my games this is one of my top games. Obviously, it never reached my game of the year status, but it's just samey. It's fun. It's more colorful. It's more Gears. I mean, what else can you expect? What else can you say about it? It is a great game for sure. I ended up playing Horde mode with a couple of friends of mine actually a couple days ago, and that was pretty fun. It kind of sucked because when we started out, I was in the lobby. He invited me. I was in the lobby. I got into the game, and then I fell out, and we had to rearrange the internet environment, if you will, so that I could actually be connected to a hardline because, a landline, because Wi-Fi is shit. Wi-Fi is crap. Wi-Fi is nothing compared to a landline. Wi-Fi will fail you more than a landline ever will, as far as I'm concerned. When you're just sucking something invisible out of the air, that thing will end up turning your freaking connection invisible, and then you won't even have one. I mean, Wi-Fi is good in short bursts here and there if you're doing a little something, but as far as having like a hard connection, no pun intended, you need a landline. You need it. You need something that is connected into the damn system and into a modem or whatever. Actually, I was connected into like a Wi-Fi router, but I still had a landline in there. But the thing, and it's just kind of strange how the Wi-Fi itself, even because I was just connected to Wi-Fi itself, and it died. But with a landline plugged into it, it was connected the entire time. That was strange. That was really weird. But as far as I'm concerned, I was still wondering if it was going to go out, but luckily it didn't. And I'm really a landline person, plain and simple. I won't bother with Wi-Fi if I don't have to. If I can use a landline, I'm going to use a landline because that's always going to give the best connection. So, anyways, but yeah, this is definitely a game to play. Definitely a game to get without a shadow of a doubt. It's more Gears, more Gears of War. There's like a few new weapons or whatever, and you got new characters now. But it's very pretty. Has a higher color palette. Definitely one to check out. Definitely one to play. But I'm really hoping when the next Gears comes out, it's much more deeper. It's much more has more gameplay happening for it. Something brand new. Like say if they were to have like branching storylines, different story choices you can make, different ways for you to be able to upgrade your weapons or something like the ammo types or how you can rearrange parts on a weapon or even create your own weapon. Something like that. Something that is just going to bring Gears of War to the forefront as being almost like a completely new game, if you will. It still has that maybe stop and pop shooter feel, hiding behind cover and then popping out and shooting enemies, but hopefully they'll end up doing something where it'll be more than what it has been over the course of 5 games. I believe it's 5 games. Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and 4. So yeah, pardon me. The last one here is a Wii U title, and that is Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE. It's a JRPG. What do you expect? They come up with some of the most strangest names you ever heard in your whole damn life. But this was an exclusive for the Wii. It's a JRPG, obviously, like I just said. but it's a mixture between the Persona series and the Fire Emblem series, and I honestly like both series. Not a huge fan of them, but I do like them. And this was kind of a surprise for me because it was supposed to be something completely different for Nintendo and on the Wii U. And when it came out, and when it was revealed, it was nothing like anybody thought that it was going to be, and it kind of surprised me too. It basically kind of deals with like J-pop, Japanese pop stars kind of thing, and that whole environment and whole deal dealing with like Japanese pop stars and pop music and things like that, and how the Fire Emblem characters or just Fire Emblem in general is like it's almost like their spirit guide or something that assists them in battle, and outside of battle you're just your normal self, and it's weird. It's awesome, but it's weird at the same time, and it's really cool. It just has a real modern feel to it, like you're in Japan and you're running around with these characters and you're exploring Japan, and I think it's in Tokyo actually, and you're exploring it and you're going in like certain areas of Japan and Tokyo and whatnot are getting they're having like demons that are popping out of these different areas, and you're going and fighting them, and you're progressing onward into the story, and so on and so forth. I don't know how far I've gotten into it, but I have really liked what I've been playing. I got sidetracked with other games, but definitely, guys, if you're really looking for something weird, something unique, but it's still a JRPG, definitely get this, because without a shadow of a doubt, it's something to behold. I really do think it's really cool, and it's just out there, but it's really awesome at the same time, So definitely, this is one to check out without a shadow of a doubt. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my top games of the year. And also, I also revealed my game of the year, which was Uncharted 4. But there has been some other games that I have been playing recently, which I couldn't really put them on the list because of the fact that I hadn't really had a lot of time with them to really know what they're about. Um, I'm not going to get into those because this has already been a 30-minute video, for God's sakes. Because there's really no reason for me to talk about them, because there's not really much that I can say since I haven't played them too much. So what's the point in even mentioning them? But anyways, yeah. So I'll go ahead and end this like I always do. Later, taters.